Hi, my name is Amethyst Treleaven and this is Psychic Ogham reading 789 for my client with the initials BS. So, BS, you asked me about your career and its future, where you might be living in relationship to that as well. So we're going to look at those questions today for you. What we'll do as we go through the reading, as we normally do, is we will start here and we will work our way around. Now, we start here with this stave, and this is you, or Idaho. Now, this is in the position that themes all of your reading, and this is very much about excuse me, about transition, and primarily that is about transition and change that you adapt to, but that you create from within. Now that's in contrast to this stave here, which we will talk about later on, which is about more change, but about change that's created by other people. So theming for you is very much about internal change. It's about changes that you create, about how you feel about the world, and about your role, your job, and your family, all of that kind of stuff. It's the decisions that you make, and there's going to be quite a few of those for you over the next year or so. So we'll carry on over here right now. These three staves here represent the past year or so, and the first one is Beth, or Birch, and this themes your past, and it's very much about new beginnings. It's about new challenges, it's about new experiences, and for you the last year has been very much about taking on board new challenges, taking on board new experiences, trying different things, going different places, meeting different people, particularly around work, because work for you is quite important. Your family are also incredibly important, but your identity is wrapped up in what you do. So it's been a year for you of massive change, but change primarily that you've taken on board and been quite happy to do. We have two Ogham staves here. I'm really pleased to see this one here. This is Quirt, or Apple, and this is very much about you living to a life that that is appropriate for you, that supports your soul. So for you it's really important to make sure that your job, your family, the way you present yourself to the world, and the way you interact with the world feeds your soul, feeds your purpose, not just your bank account. Money, of course, is important and always will be important. It pays the bills and it gives you choices, but for you there's a really good balance between feeding the bank balance and feeding your soul. That sits underneath this one, which is Dewar, or Oak, and Oak is very much about hard work. It's about determination. You're ambitious, and you're not afraid of hard work. You go for it. So whilst for you it's really important to have a job role and have a role in society that helps you to feel that you are feeding your soul, that you are supporting your life's purpose, you're also aware that that comes with the responsibility of hard work. So the last 12 months for you has been a time where, whilst you've had new challenges and new experiences to get to grips with, you're also very much aware that it's been hard work, but that you're travelling in the right direction. This Ogham stave here is Willow, or Sail, and I'm really pleased to see this in here. This sits in the position of what's happening for you in life right now. Now, Willow or Sail is very much about, again, it's about living to your soul, but what I'm hearing from Willow is that for you right now, you are beginning to look at not just alternative ways to do things, but ways to do things that are magical for you. So how do you combine spiritual life with working life? This is very much about femininity. It's about appreciating that whilst you can have a full-on working life, you can also be an incredible woman to boot. But let's spend much more time in this area here, because this is where the answers to the questions are that you asked. Now, this stave here is, excuse me, is Alder or Fien. Now, Alder is very much about giving and receiving advice, and this themes your next 12 months ahead. Alder says that in the role that you're in, you do lots of teaching for other people. You deliver services for other people. I don't know what the role is that you do, but I keep sensing that it's business to business. In other words, you don't always have direct interaction, if you will, with the customers of your organisation, but that you have direct interaction with other team members within your organisation. And I keep hearing training, teaching, you delivering services to those people. And that's all about what Alder is about. It's about delivering services. It's about providing advice. It's about providing support to other people. So for you, that's going to be a year ahead of further development in that field. Now these two here are quite interesting. This is Broom underneath here, and on top we have Huath or Hawthorn. Now I'll also describe this one as well, because when you put these together they come up with quite an interesting picture. This is Ash or Newham, and this is about transition, it's about changes, but unlike this one which we talked about before, which themes all of your reading, which is about changes that you make to the way you approach the world, this is changes that other people impose upon you. This is situations, people, places, events, circumstances which impose their will on your purpose, and so they have an impact on you. So when we put all these together, we have a year ahead of lots of changes and so forth again. However, there are a great deal of new circumstances coming up for you as well. Let's pick up on this, and I'll kind of draw this all together as we go. Broom is about sweeping away all of the old circumstances, the old energies, memories, everything that holds you back, and this may also be people, by the way. It's about sweeping those all away so that you can make room for the future to come in. It's a little bit like a room is full of, or a cupboard, let's say, which is your life, and the cupboard is full to the brim with past memories, past experiences, but because it's full to the brim, there's no room in that cupboard to put new life experiences into. So for you, it's a case of really looking at your past goals, your past anxieties, your past worries, and letting them go so that you produce enough room for the new experiences to come in. You've been blocking new experiences, much as you want new experiences and you want change, because for you change is exciting and it's stimulating. You've been holding on to some old stuff which has been stopping a lot more of that coming through. Now Hawthorn or Huath is all about obstacles and challenges that are put in your way. Now, it doesn't mean to say that the goals that you create can't be achieved, far from it, in fact. Hawthorn does say, however, that those goals will come to pass, but that you need to find alternative routes around them. So if your goal, for instance, is here, and you are standing back here, then you can't go through hawthorn to get to your goal, because hawthorn's full of prickles and it's going to rip you to shreds. In other words, plan A to go straight to the goal is not always going to work for you, and you may need to find plan B, which is to find a route around, a workaround plan B to get to the goal. So what am I talking about when we put all of those together? So you asked me about your career and whether that will go forward. Yes, absolutely, your career is going to go forward inside the next 12 months. I'd really like to extend that and say the next 18 months, because this is not something that occurs within the next 3 months. It's a little bit broader than that. Yes, there are upward movements, but there are also sideways movements. So I think I mentioned before that I keep seeing you in a supervisory role, in a training role or service delivery role, but you would like to go sideways and upwards into management. You will have that opportunity inside the next 18 months. You will return to study as well. And you will have opportunities, a great many more opportunities for travel. You asked me in relation to your job whether you see those as being working abroad or working within Australia. For the next 6 months or so, there is no offer for you to work overseas permanently. Within 18 months, there will be the opportunity, not necessarily the offer, but the opportunity for you to work overseas. And whilst your guides, as you mentioned, have been talking to you about potentially it being in the US, I'd really like you to expand that a little bit more to include Canada in that possibility as well. I think what's really important here, so let me just back that up a bit. So in a nutshell, what we're seeing in these Ogham staves here is that yes, there will be a promotion for you, but think longer term than short term. So we're talking 18 months as opposed to just 6 months or so. But in the meantime, there are lots of new opportunities for you to gain some additional experience that you can then put on your CV when you go for that bigger upgrade in your role in about 14 months' time. I really encourage you to find as many opportunities as you can within the current organisation. And when I say promotion, I'm talking about you remaining in your current organisation. Can't see anything on here about you finding a job outside your current organisation. So I'm encouraging you with these staves here to find as many opportunities as you possibly can to gain additional experiences that are sideways to the current role that you have. Now that may mean taking on additional projects, managing different projects so that you can prove to those that make the decisions that you have the capacity, the capability and the foresight and the resources to be able to take on more than you're currently doing. I do see additional travel for you, international and within Australia, but I don't actually see your family coming with you in the short term, I'm afraid. Fair bit of commuting for you, but I don't see them coming with you. I think it's also really important to let you know that what I do see in here is that your finances have a couple of difficulties around September of this year. There are some additional expenses that are just going to be heaped in on you that you haven't been prepared for, and they're to do with where you live. I'm being told major repairs, or is there an extension that you're going to do to your house, or an improvement, a mega improvement, perhaps it's redecorating or something, but there's going to be a fair bit of expense associated around where you live in September. It's really important that you prepare for that and don't overstretch the budget, because there is a tendency for you to do that and then you start worrying about that. In terms of health as well, I really encourage you just to take just a little bit more care of your health over the next year or so. That's not to say that anything is untoward or sinister is about to occur. That I certainly don't see that in the States at all, but I do see the potential for you to be quite tired, and so I'm going to encourage you to look at what you're eating and to remove things like refined sugar, and instead start giving yourself a little more things like some decent fruit and some decent vegetables. Now, I know I can sense that particularly when you're travelling that isn't always possible, so I'm going to suggest that you talk to somebody who can provide you with some advice on how you can eat more appropriately to avoid that tiredness that sometimes hits you really badly when you're away. I keep being told you feel sometimes a little bit of brain fog, and that might be around stress for you as well, so I encourage you to seek some natural ways to get that supported for you. I'm going to talk to you now also about your animal oracle card that came up, and this is the beautiful hawk, which is a fabulous animal. Now, the druidic name for hawk is Siarach, and this is a gorgeous bird. It's got a real free spirit, and what he's encouraging you to do is to see the bigger picture of life. Don't sweat the small stuff with him. Fly high as a hawk would do. Think about how high a hawk flies, and he observes all of the landscape below him. That's really important for you to do. So think about your longer term goals rather than just sweating on the small stuff of the day. Hawk also has got a fantastic ability to sit calmly on his perch, and he just looks over his territory. He warms himself in the sun, so he's calm and he's cool and collected, and he kind of decides the purpose for the day. So for you, what this says is the beginning. I've got a sense that you do this anyway, but I'd really encourage you to do this even more, particularly if you take on additional projects this year. Each morning I would encourage you to have a bit of a goal list and see if you can go tick those things off the goal list, rather than just having this very broad sense of, I think I have to do this today and I need to do that today and get this done. Hawk also encourages you to spend some quiet time in meditation, looking at what your role is in life, and of course that's further reference to apple, which is down here, and willow, which is in here. So your next 12 months is all about making the changes within, seeing things from new viewpoints. It's about clarifying your goal. Write your life goal down, modify it as you need to over the next few months, and that might be a goal about where you live. It might be a goal about your role in terms of work, your role as a family member, money, spiritual, whatever it might be. Make sure that they are written down. Hawk is very targeted, and so you need the goal to get there as well. Hawk also, he's a really keen eye. Whilst he's flying up here, he can see the minutiae that's going on down here. So I'm not suggesting that you sweat over that minutiae of the day at all. Don't take your eye off the detail, but think about the bigger picture. But also, when you do spot detail that needs to be addressed, do so quickly, do so smartly, but do so tactfully and diplomatically. Really important for you that you play the political game in the next 18 months, whilst that might be infuriating, and I think that you do find that infuriating. It's very important that you do play the organisational politics very tactfully. I'm being told that your organisation is going to be hit with some financial concerns towards the early part of 2014. You need to make sure that you've positioned yourself with those additional projects that you're going to take on inside the next year. You positioned yourself in such a way that you are indispensable. So Hawk is very much about looking at the bigger picture and being motivated by those goals in the future. Now, additionally, your Celtic spirit animal and Celtic birth tree is Muin or vine. And the vine is very much about a tree of harvest. It's about reaping what you sow. So for you, that's all about this change as well. Your birth tree vine talks about you knowing that you are responsible for your actions, and we know this also with oak as well. You work hard for what you want, and you take responsibility for it, and that's what vine is all about. Vine people tend to be quite authoritative, discriminating, and you set, as vine people do, you set very high goals for yourself, but you also tend to set them for other people, and sometimes that means that other people let you down they don't meet your expectations on occasions. Sometimes other people can see vine people as being a little bit cool, perhaps a little bit abrupt, but in fact vine people are not. They're very soft-hearted, and they're actually quite romantic as well. You can be, like most people, a little bit oversensitive at times, and you can be very critical of your own capabilities and traits, and that's all about that setting your goals for yourself as being quite high. Your Celtic birth deity are the gods and goddesses of the Tuatha De Danann tribe. So I really encourage you to go and look at that pantheon, if you will, and your druidic Celtic spirit animal is swan. Very graceful but hard-working. So I hope that that's been of value for you, and that will help you make decisions and help you to focus even more on the successes that you want for the future.